Hello and welcome back. We've given the caulking overnight to dry out, and I know that although it says it dries in 30 minutes on the tube, whenever you caulk, especially the first coat when you really have to fill the void a lot and use a lot of caulk, you definitely want to give it overnight to dry out. So the first coat is done here. Okay, and again, we have 2 coats of primer that's on the trim here. So now what we're going to do first is we're going to do a light sand to those areas where I filled the holes. So now this is a fine grit. It's not too abrasive. Again, you don't want to use a sanding pad that is too abrasive. That's going to tear off the primer that you just put on. So we're just using a fine, and this is smooth, but you can just give it just like a light sand, but it's basically smooth because I sanded it down first, and then when I primed it, I made sure to strain the primer so there's nothing in the primer. So it's basically smooth. So all I'm going to have to do is address the holes that I filled. So there was one down here. And it's hard to see, so it's a good idea to remember what holes that you filled, because again, the trim is white and the joint compound dries white, so it's white on white. Sand there. Now I'm going to use my dust brush here just to dust off the surface here. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my 1-inch flexible blade again, and I have a joint compound here. So now we're going to refill the holes. Now, I know that the camera won't be able to see it, but the holes did shrink because there's water in the joint compound, and it evaporates out and then it shrinks down. So you're only going to have to use just a little bit here, and I'm going to come down here and fill that. There's one here. And again, if you get any over on the other side, just use your finger here. See, like there's some that's down here. So I'm just gonna use my finger there until I'll wipe that off there. And again, I'm just pressing very gently as to not to scrape away any of the primer, because it's only been two days since we did that. So I'm going to put these tools down here, and then I'm going to grab my caulk gun again, and now we're going to re-caulk it. So again, the caulk does shrink too. I know that after the first coat, it looks like it's perfect, but then after it dries, it gets sucked into the void. So it's always important to do 2 coats of caulk, because this is going to create a smooth surface that I can cut down. If you only caulk once, it shrinks in, and then when you go to cut, you won't be cutting on a perfectly smooth concave surface. So we're going to start over here again, in the corner here. So I'm just going to put it up here and just apply a little bit of pressure. Come down and around there. Okay, so as you can see, I laid down the bead. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to use my finger here to smooth it out. So as you can see, I started like 1/4 inch down from the top. So I can either put a little bit up there, or just grab some with my finger there and then bring it to the top, and then I'm going to slide down quickly now. go right down to the bottom. That's what comes off there. Now when you come into the bottom there, it'll create a wave that comes out there and then back up. So that's why you have to go into the corner and then up with it. Do that one again. Come here, come off there, around that, and just follow the contours of the trim with your finger there. Okay, so I'm just gonna clean up this corner here. Okay, so, and it's hard for me to see this because I would normally have my body over here when I did it. So that looks good to me there. Now we'll come over to the other side and do the other side. So again, I'm going to put the tip right up here and just come down with it. And I'm just applying an equal amount of pressure on the trigger here. And again, I'm not putting as much caulk as I did on the first coat. So that time I got it to the top there. So I'm just going to come down here, I'm going to drag my finger down. Go into the corner there. Now I'm going to come like this, go like that, and you can see how it does that there. So with a clean finger, I'm going to come into the corner here and go up with it. And that's what comes off there. Okay? Now I'm going to come down here and just do that there. Okay? So that's going to take care of that, and then again I'm going to re-caulk like the inside here, like drag a bead like that, start, and that takes care of that there, and I'll redo this one here, come into the corner, come down with it there, come from the bottom, and go up with it there. Top, work it there. Come to the top here, work that in the corner, come down with it. And come across like that there. Okay? So I'm going to do that same thing that I just did to this window here, to those two windows there. And again, when you're caulking, it's best to carry a wet, either a wet rag or a dry rag and a wet sponge, just to clean your fingers off. And if you get any on the wall, and again, if you get any on the eggshell paint, then you can wipe it off. But if the paint is flat, then you don't want to apply anything that is wet to the wall. But since this is an eggshell sheen, if you get some on there and you're not happy with it, you can just just apply this wet sponge to it and then wipe it off. So again, this is a 30-minute caulk, so we're just going to give this like probably like an hour, and we'll be back to just to do a light sand on the holes that I just filled, and we'll start to paint the top coat. So until the next time.